Hey y'all, welcome to the filling station. I'm super excited, y'all. So in this video, I want to show you just something that, I always try to find teachable places or places that we can learn from, right? Because we learn and we grow together. But let me go ahead and give my disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. I just enjoy teaching people how to build generational wealth. And yes, the stock market is just one of those avenues. So this video is for educational purposes only. With that being said, let's get started. So we are looking at the SPY. And I'm going to try to make this bigger. Yes. Okay. So we're looking at the SPY on a 30-minute chart. And every morning I always mark the gathering spot, right? And as you can see, I normally go to the 4 o'clock candle, which will be somewhere around here, right? So we have been trading in this zone here actually since yesterday, which was, yeah, since yesterday, just trading in this gathering spot here. So eventually we're going to break out of this area. I call it the no trade zone, right? Because you don't want, if you get in for a scalp. It's not something that you can make big moves on, because as you can see, we are just going sideways basically. And why I call it the gathering spot is because it's where prices gathered. It's where the buyers and the sellers are, right? We're gathered in this place. So you don't want to trade until it breaks out of this area to the upside or to the downside. And it can go in either direction, but you don't want to trade until it makes a direction or it creates the direction, right? So what's interesting is something keeps stopping the SPY at this level. I'm going to mark this level here. Yes. And as you can see, we have tested that level 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're still right at it now. So I'm going to make this like a gold color, because I need to figure out what's stopping the SPY at this level. Something is preventing it from going, and I'm going to make it a little bit darker, and something is preventing it from going to the downside. So I need to watch this level. So I'm going to go to a higher time frame only so that I can see what's stopping the SPY at this level. We've tested it 1, 2, 3, 4, and right now we could very well test it again at number 5. So let's go to a higher time frame. And as you can see here, we are on a 1-hour chart now. Our 20 EMA is what's actually stopping the SPY from moving down. So right now, that 20 EMA here is our support. SPY is finding support right here on this 20 EMA on this 1-hour chart. Now, if by chance we break this, we could very well come back down to this area here at 555.36. That's going to be another area of support. And the reason why is because look where the body of this candles are here. And sometimes, people use the word, whatever works best for you. I always try to look at the body, because, that's where we are. So right now, if the SPY loses the support of where it is now at the 556.01, our next level of support is here. And I'm going to try to make a line here. And then I'm going to go to a smaller time frame just to see if we can pick out something else. So it will be in this area. So let's go to the 5-minute chart just to see. Yeah, which is really close to this ATR trailing stop right here. Those dots here it's the ATR trailing stop. So please know that there is a reason why, the stock or the candle stopped at that place. And if you're like me, I like to figure out what caused it to, what caused it to not continue down or to continue up. And it's always easier for me to mark those levels to know that, I'm going to have trouble in this place, or SPY is going to give me trouble in this area, or whatever stock that you're trading. These are my trouble places. So that's why I identify the trouble places. So yeah, so SPY is going to be interesting. Are we going to hold at this level here? Or are we going to bounce from here and go back to the upside? So I'm going to go to a smaller time frame now, which we're looking at the 30-minute chart, but let's go look at the 5-minute, because it gave us a signal that we were going down. So if we were looking at it at 5:55 this morning, and say for instance we were trading options, right? So our MACD gave us a signal here about 6:20. You see how we crossed here and we fanned out here. That is a signal for me. Right? So looking at the candles here, it's like, oh, that's a bunch of, nothing right now. So we could have entered the trade based on the MACD and waited on confirmation here, but we didn't get confirmation until about 7:10. So it would have been easier to just wait on this trade. We had a MACD crossing here. We could have entered the trade here at about 710, 720 area, and that would have been a downside move. Well, we created a gathering spot here. As you can see, this was the support, 556.25. We had a resistance around here, the 556.36. That's our trouble place, right? So we had a signal here at the MACD, this little pivot area. I always call it a pivot. I'm gonna see if I can make it bigger without messing it up, right? I just did that. So let's see, this little pivot area here, the MACD, it touched here, 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 and we got rejected only to come back to the downside. So that's another signal for me. We came down to this area here, came back up, got rejected at this 50 EMA. So you could have bought off of rejection. We already had signal here for, you know, moving to the downside. We had confirmation here as moving to the downside. Here's a rejection here at the 50 EMA that we're getting rejected here. And look at the next candle beside it. Again, this is the 5-minute chart. This was the rejection candle. This is the candle beside it that we could have entered the trade as a confirmation, and we got that pivot with the MACD here. So we could have entered this trade only to come back down here, and that would have been a scalp, right? Because we came and found support. Well, look where the SPY is again. We are back at this area and we are breaking through this area. As you can see here, we are breaking through what was a previous support area. So this level here was, the low was 556. We've made a low of 555.98 looking at it on this 5-minute chart, and on this 30-minute chart, look, we are still finding support, kinda, but because we have made a new low, that's an interesting place, right? Because this candle was 556, this candle is 555.98. So we are breaking down, we are under, and we are making new lows, 555.97. So we're breaking down. Again, this candle has not closed. So it's interesting that, you know, the SPY is where we are, because are we going to find support here and bounce, or are we going to continue to create new lows? And that's something that we could, you know, to be mindful of. So I always like to go to smaller time frames and higher time frames, only because it lets me know where my trouble places are. And I kept seeing that the SPY was getting, you know, something was holding the SPY in this level. And when I went to the 1-hour chart, I saw that it was the 20 EMA here. So our next level of support would have been right here at the 555.45, and as we go to the 5-minute chart, we see that that is right close to this ATR trailing stop. So that's why I definitely use the ATR trailing stop. It helps me, let me say that. So if we should break again back to the downside, this is our area of support here, which is right at that ATR trailing stop, as you can see. So it's really important to find the things that work for you, what's helpful for you. If it's easier for you to use the moving averages, find the ones that work for you, and anything that can help you to identify your trouble places. You know, again, we knew that this was a trouble place, but we didn't figure out what that trouble was until we moved into the higher time frame. So that's why it's important to use the higher time frame, so that we'll know where our trouble places are. So yeah, y'all, I always look at, you know, again, what can I learn from the market, or what can I, you know, use as a teachable moment in the market, right? So this is definitely one of those. SPY was finding support at this area 1, 2, 3, 4 times, right? We finally, on the 5th time, we broke through that level. Just know that I know that I'm going to have trouble here, because it could be support and continue up, bounce us back to the upside, or we can, you know, continue to the downside. I just know that to the downside, I have trouble here, here, and here. So there's 3 places that I know I'm going to have trouble to the downside for the SPY here, if it should break past this level. So yeah, I always say, y'all, trading is not difficult. It's just learning how to put the puzzle together, and you have to learn how to piece it piece by piece. You know, study that piece, and then you figure out where that piece goes, and then you apply that to, you know, where you know where I'm gonna keep practicing this and practicing this, and it's just working at it, because it is practice and it is work, but it is doable. Let me say that. So yeah, y'all, I hope these videos are very, very helpful, y'all. I am super, super excited. I always say we learn and we grow, right? So until next time, y'all, I hope that everyone have a very prosperous and productive day, and I always like to leave you with this, y'all. Be blessed, as well as a blessing unto others. Until next time.